Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I am wonderful now. Good to talk to you today.
And it's good to talk to you also. It really is. I want to tell people who are going to watch our interview here that my very special guest today is Kelly Lang. Kelly is set to release a new album this summer called Jealous Green Eyes. It's her first album containing all songs that she either wrote or co-wrote since 2017. But believe me, she has kept herself plenty busy in the meantime. That sounds like she's been relaxing, but no, she's kept herself plenty busy since then. And I just thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, album has been long in coming. As a matter of fact, the title of the album is called Jealous Green Eyes, and that is actually a song that I wrote when I was 17 years old.
Oh,
And
wow.
while starting this new project, I'm like, I'm looking for a little bit more adult contemporary, a little bit more adult themed kind of and I was looking through old vintage things of my in an old box the other day or a couple months ago, and I'm like, Jealous Green Eyes. I forgot about that song. So I pulled it out and I'm like, oh, this fits this project perfectly. So and that would be the title cut. So it's songs from when I started to most recent. And what the last song I've written for this project is something I wrote a few months ago. So it's kind of like it's kind of like bookends on this album to
Yeah.
from beginning to end. And it's a story that kind of follows a crazy path all the way through my life.
You've had quite the adventure from all the different people that you were around growing up in the country music world that you grew up right around, and then when you started to sing, and then so many different chapters of your life that are so exciting, which we'll talk about chapters later on because you've taken care of some chapters too, I understand. Some
Yes.
books, an autobiography. So
What's so funny though is that people know me. Oh, I remember you from blah blah blah, or I remember you, and it's total opposite ends of the spectrum of. I'm like, you know me from that. Okay. So I feel like I've put myself in too many, pieces of the pie kind of thing, but I just love creativity. I love different avenues of it, whether it be physical art, painting, or writing or producing. So I wear a lot of caps, but I think they're all under the same arts umbrella. So
it's very exciting too because you think that sometimes some people are content just to coast through life with one job and 9 to 5, go home, do it again. I could never. I'm a creative type too. You've got me beat. You run circles around me with all the things that you do, but I mean, I'm pretty busy too, from work to teaching to interviewing to singing, everything. It's just but we love this because we're creative people.
I get bored if I don't have a project to do. So I always claim this is my last, and then I'm like, until my next, So
That's right.
yeah,
That's the disclaimer. Until my next.
till my next. Yes, that's okay.
Um, so I was going to say, the last time I had the pleasure of speaking to you was back in 2020. So it's quite a while ago. And
Wow.
since then, you've put out 5 albums. So, like I said, she's not relaxing. She's doing lots of stuff all over the place in the music industry. 5 albums, including a Christmas album and a duet album with legendary country artist T.J. Shepherd, who I understand you know him pretty well, which makes sense since he's your husband. It makes sense that you would know him pretty well.
Very well. We've known each other. Honestly, Kevin, I can't even tell you when we met. He's always been in my life. And, he knew my parents. He was in business with my parents. And I had gotten married at a young age and had a family of my own. And I went through a very painful divorce and thought I would swear off love ever again, never again, And I ran into his first wife at a party, and she says, "How are you?" And I go, it's I've had a rough year. She goes, TG's single, and I'm like, that's really weird. Like, wonder why she would say that to me. And a few weeks later, he calls my mom's house and asked me to dinner, and we've been together ever since. Like it's
Wow.
just like it just was meant to be. And I teased with her later. I'm like, either you don't like either of us and you wish lifelong of pain, or you must have thought we were a good match. So it worked out.
Yeah, because it's very atypical to have an ex promote their ex
You
for
think?
dating. Yeah. So
She said he's always such a nice guy, and I thought you're a nice girl, and y'all have so much in common. And who knew, But we're 26 years later, and that's kind of a eternity in the music industry. So we're really proud of our relationship.
And I understand that he opened for Conway Twitty a lot, and your dad
Yeah.
was managing Conway Twitty, so even growing up, you knew, you knew him as the singer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like the go-to. Coco is here with me, so she pops her head in. You'll see.
Okay.
Um, I was like the go-to opening act, if you will, for several different artists, including TG. I unfortunately never opened for Conway per se, but we had been on several festivals that were the same. But yeah, I mean, I just been around, Loretta and George Jones and Randy Travis. All of these people were. It was like if your parents worked for Publix, so you would have the produce manager come by for dinner one night,
Uh-huh.
nothing different than that. And so I never thought it was that special because that's all I've ever known since I was one. But I will admit the older I've become and the more wow factor it is. When Conway passed, it really opened my eyes to go, oh, that wow, that was different. And what a gift it was to be raised around that. And my love for country music is so extreme, and my appreciation for it is even bigger because we're losing so many of them. And my memories, it's all you got. I can tell you things that have happened to me in the past, but I would love to relive and be able to go, wow, I really appreciated that part of my life. That's why I wrote the song Goodbye Darling in a gift to Conway's kids, because it's basically a song of regret and reminding us to not take people that we love for granted. And man, I'd give anything to go back to the studio with him and ask his thoughts. And the lesson learned.
Yeah. It's a beautiful song. I remembered Goodbye, and and I couldn't remember what the other word was, so I was going to bring it up, and I couldn't remember, but it's a beautiful song. I remember when you had, that was a
Yeah.
song you were promoting, and
A,
it was
a,
beautiful,
a
beautiful.
funny little side story. I don't know if I shared this with you in our previous interview, but TG and I were just dating at the time when I wrote that. And he lived in Knoxville, which was like 3.5, 4 hours away from where I was living. And so every once in a while, if we would go for a period of time without seeing each other, we would meet in the middle, have dinner, group and all. So that night we were talking about our friendship with Conway and how much we loved him and missed him and, what we had in common. And we parted ways. I start driving home and this song starts coming to me and I'm like, I gotta pull over. So I was looking for a pen and a piece of paper and I didn't have either. So I found a napkin and a lip liner and I just was drawing it down, and TG called while I was on the side of the road and he goes, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I am on this side of the road." And he goes, "Oh, I'll be right there." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 it's fine." I said, I am writing a song. He goes, "Of course you are." I was able to record it the next day and give it to the family as a gift. And I really didn't think about it becoming something that would last so long. And it's just such an honor for me when Conway's fans still to this day play it every anniversary of his, whether it be his birthday or passing or whatever. And it's I don't know. It humbles me to know that something I wrote has lasted this long. It's really a thrill.
That's very exciting. It's very honoring for sure. You honored his life, and his fans honored the bond that you had with him, knowing, you loved his music, you respected him, you respected his family, and they really they continue to play that, and it becomes part of music history, country music
Yeah,
history.
a thrill that I had, and I'll probably do it again this year too. On July 3rd or 4th of last year, I went to Loretta Lynn's ranch and I sang that song on it. They were honoring Conway with Trey and Taylor. Have you met them yet?
I
It's
have not.
Oh my gosh, you've got to talk to them. They're a blast. Taylor is Loretta's granddaughter, and Trey is Conway's grandson. And I was asked to do this song on their show, and I went on and did it. And it's been a while since I've sung that song in concert because I just have moved on. I've done other songs, since. But the second the first note began, that specific group of fans, they were like, "Ah!" And I was like, "Oh, I like this." They knew it, and
Yeah.
it just, although it's not like a radio hit song, it's organically a hit song because that fan base is so powerful, and it really meant the world to me to be able to sing that for them.
Oh, it's very special moment for them, especially. But for
Mhm.
you as the
For me,
songwriter and singer,
yeah.
it touched the heartstrings, knowing the friendship and the respect you had for Conway.
Yeah. Well, I hope to do it again this year. I plan on it. So anybody,
July what?
it's like 4th of July-ish weekend. They honor Conway. They're at Loretta's Ranch, and they're just so talented and they're so fun, and they're not trying to like imitate their grandparents. They're there to honor them. They know they don't sing like them. They don't try to, but it's so beautiful how they've organically just brought forward the music and the fans are following. And I just am so proud of them.
No, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Um, Besides the albums that you've been writing and reminiscing and going back through some of your catalog songs and enjoying them for special events, I know you wrote the autobiography called "I'm Not Going Anywhere," and you composed a song by the same name that was used for the official anthem of Ascension Hospital. So, I mean, that's exciting. Oh, and by the way, yeah, small little fact here too. You had written the song "Under a Tennessee Moon," which is an official song of Tennessee. In your spare time.
Well, it sounds like I'm busy day to day to day to day. It really does. But these are things that I've written a long time ago. And for some reason, Kevin, they just keep forwarding, like 16 years will go by and then somebody hears them. Like the governor of Tennessee heard it 16 years after I wrote it, and I didn't write it for that reason. I wrote it from my mom as a gift.
Yeah.
And and he loved it, and he felt like it encompassed the whole state of Tennessee instead of just one area. And he called us in to give me this beautiful proclamation in his office, and my mom got to go with me, and she got to hear me sing it on the Grand Ole Opry. And then, it's a full circle moment for me because she passed 4 months later. And I think that just has to be a God thing for him to allow her to see that. It meant the world to me. And so yeah, I have bragging rights. And there's this blue book that was sent to me recently from a senator, and it has me and my words and the date that it was, put into law. So I'm in the history books next to Brenda Lee,
Wow.
rocking around the Christmas tree as
Oh my goodness, huh?
my kids are kind of proud. That makes me happy.
It's so neat. I'm so happy for you. All the things that and I guess I'll jump to this real fast. But, with your social media, I just feel like we've only spoken on one other occasion, and here we are speaking again. But I feel like the genuine nature that in which you speak with your fans and when you let them in on parts of your life, little pockets of your life and everything. I just feel like you really do it right in the sense of there's some people that don't know where to do with their social media. There's so much. It's a responsibility, I guess, in a sense. But you seem to just I saw your Instagram site. You got everything lined up to and funny stories, and you sit right there in the house and relax, and people just feel like they're like I said to you before we started, feel like we're just sitting across the table chatting.
Well, we are.
We are
That's the
just a
beauty of
couple
social
thousand
media.
miles, but but yeah,
People sometimes think I overshare, and I put up a video last week of an incident that happened to me where I stung myself with a stun gun. Did
I
you see
saw
that?
it twice, right?
Twice, twice.
I was
And
laughing.
but
It's not, I, yeah,
when the one lady goes, "Why are you sharing your personal information?" I'm like, "Well, why not?" Like, don't look at it if you don't want to. I'm just kind of at a
right.
place where if somebody wants to see it, they can scroll on if they don't. I just,
It just helps people to know that you're just like we all put our pants on the same way, one leg at a time. We're
I would
just
hope
people.
nobody would do that. Don't lead,
But things happen,
don't
right?
lead
We
by
make,
example, people.
yeah, well, but still things happen in our lives, right? We do things that we don't
Yeah.
expect to happen, or things that we feel like silly, like how could I not, or how did that happen? But we all have stories like that. We all have stories, and it makes
Well,
you feel more like just, you're just another person that just we all,
but we really are. I
right,
think
right.
that's
And people
this,
don't realize that.
yeah, it's this strange mystery of,
Mhm.
I don't know what it is because eh, I mean, seriously, I get my car cleaned. I take my own
Right.
trash out. But there's a mystery
Yeah.
around an entertainer, I guess, that you'd think that they wouldn't do that. but I take pride in stuff like that. I take pride in doing my own dishes and scrubbing my baseboards. I don't like people doing things for me. I'm
Right.
I'm kind of like old school like that. I don't know. I just I don't know. I love what concerns me the most is when people tell me that I don't seem approachable or that they would be nervous to approach me, and I'm like, really? Because I'm so chill, like I don't I
I would
don't know.
never think that. I would never think that. Like
Thank
I said to
you.
you, very genuine about what I'm saying here is that, really, truly, when I talk to different people, I get nervous every time. No matter if I talk to someone once or 5 times, I get nervous, and that's because we care. We get a little nervous because we care. When I'm,
But I
it's go
care
well.
too. I
Yeah,
care
right,
too,
exactly,
you
right.
know?
But it's just that you put people at ease with your everyday and all the things you've done, your kindness, your stories, I don't think you overshare. I think you are happy in your life. You're happy with who you are, and you've been very blessed, and you like to share that with people. And you share it in a very nice, warm, friendly way. And so, like you said, people can read or people can listen or not.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I started doing a little series about what to be thankful for because there's a lot of times that, we can overlook little things and like I'm able to see you. I have eyes, I have a computer. That means
Right.
electricity,
Right.
which means I have a table to sit it on. There's so many things you can be thankful for. Or I woke up with a headache one day and I'm like, thank God for the silk pillowcase, and I thought,
Right.
I'm going to start doing a series of little things to be thankful for. Would you believe I got more flack over that? I had 3 or 4 people go, "Oh, you're bragging." No, you've completely overlooked the whole reason for me to share being grateful. It's funny how people pick apart things that you really truly have good intentions
Right.
about. And it made me feel like I should take it down. So I stopped doing them because I had so many people go, "You're just bragging." Okay, so it's sad how jaded the world has become because that was completely the opposite of intention of what I intended at all.
And I think that we're always going to find people, unfortunately, that just have space of mind that they don't realize, and they feel like they look to be the person to speak up, and couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, I know that is not, and I do that too. I do on paper. I write down some things, and I always ask in each evening before I hit the hay. I say, thank you for
Thank
the things
you.
I take for granted. I
Yeah.
know I take things for granted. Thank you for the things I take for granted. And I go through some of them, like you said, to be able to see, to hear, to speak, to walk. And I always tell my son too, I said, there's things that we just take for granted every day. They're gifts, they're blessings. And you've been through a lot. So shame on someone for saying that you're not great, that you're bragging. You've let someone walk in someone else's shoes for a while, right? Shame on them.
I
Shame on them.
I I have experienced a lot of health issues. My
Yes.
my precious brother is really challenged right now. He had a brain tumor when he was a baby that was basically taken care of, and it kind of came back as an adult.
Yeah.
He is now so incapacitated, and he's only 7 years older than me, and he can't walk. He can't hear. He can't see very well just because he's older and needs, little glasses and stuff. But my heart is literally broken. I have literally no room to complain in any way. Coco's rubbing her back in the sunshine. Um,
I see there.
yeah, when I think of how just we take so many just to take a step to go to the bathroom. He can't do that anymore. And it's just if people knew my true intentions behind it, they would be ashamed of themselves because it's
Yes.
never from that perspective. It's always from you've got to be kidding me. I am so humbled by all of that. And people are generally really, really nice, but there's a few stingers out there that I can't unsee, and it's unfortunate that they have the power behind their computers. So
And you can get 1,000 people to really say, "Wow, that's just really something I really appreciate. You helped me because I forget that people giving
yeah,
you all, and then it takes one person to just kind of go off path with it, and it kind of just ruins the whole feeling
what
that
is
you
it?
were trying to emit."
One bad apple. I think
Right,
that's yeah. I'm
right.
sorry to digress. I just
No, no. I know your intentions. Like I said, I feel you put people at ease with your stories, and you help them to know that we all have trials. You've gone through a lot. I know.
yes.
So. Um, let's talk about just new albums. I don't know, there's a couple singles, I know that last month you released a song called I Reach for Red. And although I know you're very artistic, drawing, painting, everything, I don't think this song is about grabbing a special color out of a box of crayons or markers. I don't think so. So why don't you tell us what it's really about?
The song I Reach for Red, I wrote a few years back about a person that I knew at the time. I was blown away by their ability to celebrate every situation, good or bad, indifferent, sad, mad, all these things with a glass of red wine. I have never needed anything quite so much. And it was kind of tongue in cheek. It was like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's more faithful than a lover is what they would say, like this glass of wine. I thought, man, I wish I loved something that much. But it was written I wrote it in a hotel room in Jackson, Tennessee in about 30 minutes. And again, TG was living in Memphis and I was living in Hendersonville. That was another one of those halfway meets. And he goes, come on, I'm hungry for dinner. I'm like, I'm writing the last chorus. Hang on. So I was finishing up. But I had recorded it a while back on a earlier project, but I never really presented it. It was never a single or anything. So it was just a great lead for this new album, and it was again a little more adult themed. And I, I don't know, it's kind of a fun single to start with, and I've had a lot of great response from it. I didn't know really how it would land. A lot of people have mentioned that they like the 90s vibe of it. What I never intended it to be a 90s vibe. That wasn't my thoughts, but I get it. It's kind of where my vibe in music is anyway. It's my favorite era, 80s, 90s kind of stuff. So it's good
Yeah.
coming back. Um, so that's the lead song on the album. And then tomorrow, or may I say tonight at midnight, you can say, hey, Alexa, play Kelly Lang's HollyWould. And she will play my new single, Alexa off. So that's super fun to hear when you can say, hey, play, one of your songs that you've written and you didn't, it's just super weird. I just can't
Yeah.
even explain it when you can hear it and the world can hear it all at the same time. So that happens tonight at midnight. And then the video for HollyWould drops tomorrow as well.
And you had some teasers of the video, right? On some of your social media. I saw parts of the video coming up, and it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. And it kind of explaining the whole. Well, what I guess maybe what I should ask you too is people that would expect it to be spelled a certain way. It's not spelled that way. It's spelled because it's not. It's about Hollywood, but it's also about
There's
Hollywood.
TG in there. Say hi, T.
Hello,
Hi,
hello.
Kevin. It's Kevin. So Leroy and I wrote this song. I don't know if you're familiar with his music, but he is a bluegrass singer and his sister. And we wrote this a few years back, and it was a little too spicy for me at
Uh-huh.
the time. And I thought this doesn't fit any of the projects that I'm doing. And I thought, I'm not going to worry about this. But then it just kind of kept haunting me. So I went in and redid the demo, re-recorded it, and I'm like, oh wow, this will fit this project perfectly. So I've been patiently hanging on to this. It's about a girl named Holly who would do anything in her power to make it in the movie industry. And I'm sure there's a million of these stories going around, but
Yeah.
I've never heard a song called this before. And maybe there is one. I don't know. I've never seen or heard of it, but it's spicy. It's PG-13, or maybe you need to be 21 to hear it. I don't know. It's spicy for me anyway, but it fits in this project, and I'm really excited to share the video. We recorded parts of the video in Franklin Theater here in Nashville. It's a historic theater, and it's just getting to know a wild child that is a little crazy. It's about a girl from Oklahoma that went wild.
Okay. Now wait, you came from Oklahoma.
Uh-huh. This song's not about me. Don't put
That's
me
I just wanted to clarify with people that's not about Kelly.
Not
It could
about
be
me. I love to write about people like that. I can live vicariously through them.
through their experiences. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, for sure. And speaking of writing, I mean, I don't know if people realize how many people have recorded, your songs like Crystal Gayle, Ricky Skaggs, George Jones. I mean, just to name a few that they've taken your songs and recorded them. So I mean, you're a songwriter for yourself and also have been a songwriter for other people.
Yeah, at this time, I wrote a whole entire album with Lori Morgan called I Walk Alone. And then her latest album, she has three of my songs on this latest album that she's done. As matter of fact, the title cut, Dead Girl Walking, is one of those. On this album, there's a new song that I wrote called I Know Me, and I wrote it for Johnny Lee, and he had it on his last album that he did. So, but it's different coming from a female's perspective. So I thought it would work really well in this project for sure. And you know, I love writing for other people. I've written for William Lee Golden, I've written for the Oak Ridge Boys, and but there's something really more intimate when you write for yourself. Like,
Hmm.
or if you don't have a co-writer in particular, I find that the songs really fit my personality more. If it's written organically and inspired. So I can go into meetings and write with other writers, and if there's a theme to write about, I can do that, but it's not my favorite way of doing that.
Right, right. And that's I can see how that would be the case. And like you said, when you're writing songs that are personal, it's a little bit easier to do that. It's yours. You're not
Yeah.
trying to share, change lines with a co-writer that
Yeah, and,
don't
and
really
I
fit
can
your
emote. I
story.
can emote differently when I'm performing. You can tell when it's a song I've written that I've sung versus a song that somebody's written that I've sung. You know, it's a different
Right.
heart note, I think.
If you had a day where you were not wanting to think about your own life stories and just kind of write just in third person, is there someone that you hope you would write a song for someday that you would just love to have them grab that song and sing it? Anything like the voice, the style, the whatever it is?
There's a song that I wrote. This is a little off your question, but there's a song I wrote that's on this new album, and it's called "Make Love to Me." And the choice of instrumentation that we've chosen, I would love to see it performed on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's a very intimate, very sexual kind of song, and it would be intimate for a dance like that, you know. And I just that would be a goal of mine. Not in
Right.
any particular. I mean, of course, I'd love a dolly cut. That would be great. I came real close to one, but um, I don't know. There's so
Yeah,
many people that I love. It'd be hard to choose, but
sure.
the Dancing with the Stars thing, then that would be a feather in my cap because I'm a huge fan.
I like that idea. Well, hopefully the producers will hear that someday,
Maybe.
hear you saying that, and they'll, word of mouth. This person tells that person. Before you
Never
know
know.
it, you're one of the judges before you know it, and then your song comes on. You never know, right?
People always go, you should be on that show. And I'm like, I don't, I trip over my own tennis shoes. There's no way. I would love it. I wish I had that talent, but that's not my talent.
Um, I want to be sensitive to your time, and because I know you've had a full day and more hours to come, so I just wanted to ask you one more question.
Sure.
You've been involved in so many different types of projects over the years. Is there anything else on your bucket list that people might find surprising that you like? It doesn't even have to be a musical. It's just something that you in your life would like to accomplish.
Coco. Um, gosh, that's an excellent question. I mean, there's always venues that I would like to play.
Yes.
I would like to travel and do more shows in Europe. I've always enjoyed performing in Europe. The Paris Opera House.
Oh,
And
wow. Yes.
um, I can't even think of it. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name in England, in London. I can't think of the name of it, but there's a beautiful building there that Olivia Newton-John played at, and she said, "Kel, you've got to play this." And I'm like, "Okay." I wish I could think of the name of it, but it's just I tell you, one of my big dreams is I would love to perform with a symphony. That's one of my goals for this.
Oh,
lot
that
of
has to happen. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, a
Oh,
lot of my music would lend to that. I've got a
mhm.
lot of strings in this new album that I think would be so fulfilling to be able to do that. So that's a major goal of mine this year.
I love that idea. I mean, I just think that would be so, and like you said, your songs lend themselves and your voice lends itself to that sound behind you. That would be just amazing. And I hope that happens for you because I think that's so exciting.
You see me in a baseball hat today, but I can dress up. I can put a beautiful ball gown on and be the symphony girl too. So that would be like the ultimate.
Well, you're in a good place in Tennessee in the sense there's so many people that not only the country genre, right, but meant Christian
Oh
music
yeah.
and a little bit of pop and rock, whatever. But there's people down like I think maybe like Dan Huff is one of them that I always see him conducting orchestras, and he was in the rock world, but now he's doing orchestra things and
It's all
orchestrating.
connected. It's all the same. It's all the same notes, same
Yes.
bet,
Hmm. Yep.
So I think if you can get out of your fear and your a box that we all put ourselves in and kind of branch out, music is good music. And although I love country music, that's my origin and my always my go-to. I've been known to sing a rock song here or there, so I just love music. I love Gladys Knight's who I would want to sing with. That's the goal. She's my all-time favorite female vocalist.
And you got to sing one of her songs on your Old Soul
Yeah, I
albums, right?
recorded
On the
several of
second
her
one? Oh,
songs.
several. Yeah.
I
Okay.
recorded Neither One of Us Want to Be the First to Say Goodbye and Midnight Train and the way we were, not the way we were. Oh my goodness. I can't think of the title of it. The Best Thing That
Was
Ever
it?
Happened to
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I've recorded all three of those. I should do a Gladys Knight tribute album and call her in. That'd be neat.
That would be very neat. And she seems like such a wonderful lady. I work in venues, and she has come to both of our venues now and performed. And she's just a lovely lady, and still out there just
I
singing
know.
away, singing her
I
heart out.
know. She is awesome. She is absolutely wonderful. My favorite. I was raised on her.
Yeah, I love her music. Social media. Before we wrap up here, I just want to say, I already said what I said about how I feel you really embody the social media with all the different, but more than most, people that I think it is. I think it's a good thing. I do. And where do you feel you spend most of your time, or where do you feel? I mean, I've seen a lot of Facebook postings. I've seen a lot of Instagram. Where do you feel like your fans really seem to like hone in on the great
I
stories
feel
you
like
share with them?
I feel like Facebook is more my group of people. I think it's maybe the generation per se. I am dabbling into TikTok even more now, but it's a different animal
It
altogether.
sure is, right? Yeah.
But I love it all. I think it's anywhere where you can connect with somebody that might not have heard you before. It's a great opportunity. But Facebook to me feels like home. It's like I don't know. Those people come to our concerts. Those people are the ones that actively buy the music, and they're not just sitting there for a stream. They want the albums. I've got exciting news. This album is my first to go into vinyl. I'm going to be having a vinyl with this
Wonderful.
project, so I can't wait to share that with you as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's great. And it's little by little, it's coming around again. The people
I
are,
think so.
and even young, nieces and nephews, they got their turntables now and they're playing things and
I know.
it's just really interesting. Everything goes full circle in life, I think, at some point or another.
I hang on to all of my clothes. My kids keep going, "Oh my gosh, Mom, you got to get rid of some of these." I said, "It's going to come back in style. Give it a minute." And it does. It
And
really
if
does.
it doesn't, it could always be for like XOXO, right? I mean, it could always
Oh,
be for
you've done your
XOXO.
homework. Oh my gosh. Yes. We'll end on that.
All right, yes. So, your website, kellylang.net, right? I
Yes.
want to make sure
Dot
people
net.
know that because there's a lot of .coms and I don't want people to miss your
Yeah.
site. So kellylang.net.
Yeah.
And be looking for this new album.
Jealous Green Eyes.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah, it comes
Wonderful.
out in July. And
Yes,
I'll be dropping a single a month or so, maybe every 6 weeks until the album comes out. So be looking for more singles coming out too.
absolutely. And I'm sure when people hear a touch of even one song, they'll be going back, back, back for more.
Oh,
So
my from your mouth to God's ears. Thank you.
thank you so much for your time, Kelly. On a very busy day, I really appreciate your time so much.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
You're welcome.